The Ajuuran kingdom was really powerful in the Horn of Africa. It lasted a super long time, from the 1300s to the 1600s. The Ajuuran people were mostly Somali, sharing the same language and culture. Their land was a big part of what we now call Somalia. This included the coast and some parts inland. The Ajuuran kingdom left behind a lot of cool stuff, like their buildings, language and traditions. Knowing about the Ajuuran is important for understanding Somalia today. It reminds us of a time when Somalis were united under one strong leader. Before the Ajuuran, the Horn of Africa was mostly controlled by small Somali clans and sultanates. These groups often fought over land and power, but in the 1200s, a strong Somali clan, the Ajuuran, started to become important. The Ajuuran got stronger by being good fighters and making friends with other groups. They were skilled warriors, good at fighting on horseback and in boats. They teamed up with other Somali clans, making their territory bigger and their influence stronger. This led to the Ajuuran kingdom, which was a big change for the Horn of Africa. With good sultans in charge, the Ajuuran kingdom did really well. They created a government, made laws, and helped the economy grow. Their rise was the start of a great time for Somalis in the area. The Ajuuran kingdom was ruled by a sultan, the big boss. The sultan was in charge of everything, the government and the army. He had advisors and officials to help him. The kingdom was split into provinces, each run by a governor chosen by the sultan. This meant the sultan was still in charge, but others helped him run things. Taxes were important for the kingdom's money. The Ajuuran government collected taxes on trade, farms and animals. To keep things peaceful, the Ajuuran kingdom had Islamic courts. These courts used Islamic law called Sharia. The sultan picked the judges. The Ajuuran legal system was pretty advanced and helped everyone get along. The Ajuuran kingdom was rich because of trade, farming and raising animals. Being on the Somali coast was great for trade between the Indian Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. The Ajuuran were important traders in the Indian Ocean. Traders from Arabia, Persia, India and Southeast Asia came to Ajuuran ports, trading things like cloth, spices, dishes and ivory. The Ajuuran traded crops like sorghum, millet and beans, and also animals, hides and beeswax. This trade made the Ajuuran kingdom very wealthy. The Ajuuran government built things to help trade, like wells for travelers and forts to protect them from robbers. Being rich meant the Ajuuran could have a strong army, support art and culture, and be powerful in the area. Section 5. A diverse society who lived in Ajuuran. The Ajuuran kingdom had lots of different people and religions. Most people were Somali, but there were also Arabs, Persians and Bantu people. Everyone lived together peacefully, making the kingdom's culture and economy interesting. Islam was the main religion. The Ajuuran rulers were Muslim and encouraged Islamic learning. Mosques were built all over for prayer and learning. But some people, especially in the countryside, followed traditional Somali beliefs. Ajuuran society had levels, with rulers, religious scholars, merchants, craftspeople and farmers. Even with these levels, people could move up if they were skilled, smart or rich. Section 6. Cultural achievements, architecture, language and faith. The Ajuuran kingdom left behind some amazing things. They built awesome stone castles, mosques and tombs. Many are still standing today, showing how good they were at building. Somali language and literature became very popular during this time. Poets and scholars wrote things in Somali, creating stories and poems. The Ajuuran kingdom helped keep Somali culture and traditions alive. The Ajuuran were strong Muslims and helped spread Islam in the area. They started Islamic schools and courts and built mosques and religious centers. Islam changed Somali society a lot, affecting its beliefs, laws and culture. Section 7. Interactions beyond borders, friends and foes. The Ajuuran kingdom talked and sometimes fought with its neighbors. They traded with kingdoms across the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean. This trade made the Ajuuran kingdom richer and brought new ideas. But the Ajuuran also had enemies. They fought with the Ethiopian Empire and the Portuguese. These fights were usually about trade routes, land and religion. Even with these fights, the Ajuuran kingdom stayed independent and strong for hundreds of years. They were good at politics and fighting, which helped them survive in the Horn of Africa. Section 8. The decline, internal conflicts and shifting powers. The Ajuuran kingdom slowly fell apart because of problems inside and outside the kingdom. Fights about who would be the next sultan and rebellions weakened the kingdom. These problems made them weak against outside threats. New powerful groups like the Oromo people and the Geledi Sultanate started pushing on the Ajuuran's borders. These new groups challenged the Ajuuran, making things even worse. By the 1600s, the Ajuuran kingdom had broken into smaller sultanates. These new states kept some Ajuuran culture and ways of ruling but weren't as strong or united. The fall of the Ajuuran ended an important time in Somali history. Section 9. Conclusion. The legacy of the Ajuuran. Most people don't know about the Ajuuran kingdom, but it was very important to the history and culture of the Horn of Africa. When it was strong, the kingdom was a time of unity, wealth, and great achievements for the Somali people. You can still see the Ajuuran's legacy in the ruins of their amazing buildings. Their legacy is also in the Somali language and stories. Even though the Ajuuran kingdom fell apart, it reminds us that the Somali people can be united and strong. Their story helps us understand the complicated history of the Horn of Africa.